Alright, welcome back. FixFitness, guys.
I almost cramped.
Episode, I don't know, like 30-something, 32 or something like that. Sorry, Cairo's under construction for the 40th time. I swear to God. So there might be some hammering in the background. We've been painting all day, and I'm all sweaty for the camera.
There it is. There it is. I hope, it depends. The mic seems to catch a lot, but you never know when you play it back.
Yeah, we'll see. Brittany videoed us walking up and down the stairs with our carrying the stuff that she's actually hammering right now. So we got to see our lats and our pecs in action. Pretty
Well,
cool.
one of yours, because you kept dropping the box.
What the fuck happened? My left hand kept dropping it.
Yeah, I thought you were fucking around.
I thought it was, like, it literally just kept slipping, but I didn't feel like it was going to.
Yeah.
It just kept going. I was like, what the hell? I have a good grip on this. Whatever.
And we gotta do 20.1.
Yeah, and then after...
It still feels weird, like we just talked about it. It's 20.1 and it's 2019. It's so stupid.
And today's a good day to do it. We've both been out and about all damn day.
Yep.
We got to go do a crazy workout. Oh, that's all right. We can start off with 20.1 in 2019, which is dumb.
Oh, yeah.
It says shoulder to overheads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you, or ground overhead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I would love shoulder to overhead.
Right? We just rep those out real quick.
That means you can do a clean and
I can do a clean and jerk.
Or snatch, yeah.
Why wouldn't you just do a clean and jerk then?
It's because...
Is that a bitch move to do?
No.
Am
They've done that before with like ground to overhead with 75 pounds and double unders.
Uh-huh.
Like a short one, but we used to nerd out on it a lot more where it's like...
Snatching is obviously faster.
It depends though, you know? It's like one of those, if you can snatch it faster, but it's definitely going to ramp up your heart rate.
Right, that's what I was
And it takes more muscle to like pull up and shrug up, you know?
Right.
So those muscles are going to fatigue faster, so it's a give and take. But if someone is really strong, that is just pure upper body, you know? Like they're going to be able to just...
Dude, I just feel like...
Upright row and strict press it, you know? Which is fine.
That's all I kept thinking. I was like, 95 pounds, as tired as I can get. A 95-pound clean and a strict press, like, it's...
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's easy, I'm going to fucking crush everybody today, but I'm saying, like, it's
meant to be fast, that's the thing. And so they're just allowing people to make it even faster. Like, if you can snatch all 8 reps every single round, you're just moving, like, a hair faster than someone doing clean and jerks, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to win, but I'm also like, well, the workout isn't snatching, and I don't like linking snatches.
On that note, we were teaching the last couple weekends at CrossFit Sun, we're teaching a new way of snatching.
Right.
For the general population. So let's talk about that for a quick second because it's like perfect timing. We spent 3 weekends just saying, oh, if it comes up in the open.
And it's the first one.
It's the first one.
You guys are always good at that shit. You guys always predict it.
Weird. And so what we are, like, as a gym owner for 9.5 years and just constantly evolving, like, how to teach movements to the general population. When you snatch, we believe that people should learn more of like a muscle snatch.
Yeah, and you guys talked about that on DJ's episode because you guys said people's hamstrings were sore.
Yeah, because then you get to use the hammy and then you're not doubling up on the same movement pattern, which is like a deep front squat or deep overhead squat, like a snatch or clean.
That actually made me worried that I haven't been on the weekends when you guys did that, and then you guys did like with Cindy or something with all the snatches. I don't remember the names. There's a bunch of snatches. Isabel, sorry. You guys said you did Isabel and everyone's hamstrings. I was like, fuck, I wasn't there that day.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm screwed, dude. I haven't been to those classes to know how to do it. And then I was like thinking about it, driving around today. I was like,
jerks, yeah.
I could just clean and jerk.
Yeah.
What the hell?
And most people should, you know, because
really? Okay.
If you've been practicing it, it's a good time to test it. So what a lot of people do is like maybe you do 4 snatches, take a quick breath, and then do 4 clean and jerks.
I saw people
snatches,
getting tired and then switching to clean and jerks. So I was like, why don't you just do clean and jerks from the beginning, and that way you have rhythm down.
Yeah, it's because some people think you're saving time, but if you exhaust yourself...
I don't give a shit about time.
Yeah.
Is there a time cap? 15 minutes?
Yeah, so there's 15-minute time cap.
But I saw some people going a little over today.
Yeah, it depends on how you roll it. Like, I think we're programming just to finish.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But it's also, none of the times that were listed were like 17, 18. I think if you're like close to finishing, you might as well.
We could just try again in 2020 when you're supposed to do it. Why don't we try that?
No, because by this time next year in 2020, it'll be 21.1.
Do they still have people register and
I
shit?
don't fucking.
Like, isn't anyone even registered?
We've already been so removed from like the CrossFit Open as a whole. Like
But I saw.
It makes me laugh.
I saw a friend this weekend, and she's like, "Did you do 20.1 yet?" And I was like, "No, I'll text you. My gym does it on Mondays." And she's like, "Yeah, we have Friday night lights, but I'm not there because we're at an event." And she's like, "I'll text you on Monday how it goes." And I'm like, I don't want that to go away.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Yeah, doing all the big events.
Like this is a friend that lives in like Pomona, like 2 hours away from here, and can do the same workout and ask how it's going and Friday night light stuff. And I'm like, that's fun. I don't want that shit to go away.
The problem is that they never take, as in the CrossFit Games, let's say, they never take the people running it into consideration. Because you have to sign up to certify as a registered judge. Mm-hmm. So if you're running big heats, you'd have to have like, let's say, 6 to 10 people in your gym to be judges. So it's like you're hiring staff and making them pay the $20 to get registered, and trying to run this event, which is a free event that you're not making any more. You know, like that's the reason why people are slowly just kind of like fizzling or fading out. It's like it is fun. We used to do a lot of big like.
It's almost like if they got rid of it.
There's twice this year. It's like, you know.
Yeah, and that's what someone else said. Are they going to do it 2 times?
No, I think now they're caught up. Let's say I'm assuming. So next year it'll be October. Again.
It'll be the new thing.
21.
But then October's everybody does. All gyms usually do Grace.
Yeah, there's. So, I mean, even if it's not just Barbells for Boobs, like that nonprofit. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
So people do Grace.
And I've been talking to a few people. I think this is a bad timing because, one, football season just started.
Yep.
So no one's like on top of their game a little. You know, you can't be as dedicated with your nutrition. People are drinking, hanging out.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so you drink on Sunday and then you can't really fully recover and be on your game to hit the workouts. You start losing the
most
love.
Places do it on Friday though, right? But it's like, how many people are going to go out of town? Especially towards the end of the.
Mm-hmm. It's a difficult thing to facilitate, and that's why a lot of people have turned it into that intramural league or whatever that we've been doing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, even if they got rid of it, or if the gym chooses not to do it, you should just make your own beer Olympics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna go 4 weeks to 6 weeks long. Teams.
We used to do
score
that,
it, right? Yeah,
and we would have
fun as hell.
Make a team. Wear different colors. The first year we spinned it, that was like 5 years ago. We were like, all right, instead of paying $20 to the CrossFit Games, we're gonna everyone pay us the 20 so we can give everyone a team shirt.
Yeah,
there's like team purple, team blue,
so fun, dude,
and a simple logo.
Throw down on Thursday nights,
and then we can modify it and not fall under their rules. It's not like if they program something like muscle ups and only a handful of people in the gym.
Right.
Our variation would be like a chested bar for RX.
Right.
So there's a lot of benefits, and you don't need official judges. We could just pick whoever to judge that day, So.
Yeah, times are changing.
I was gonna post something and be a dick about just the Open starting, like things are gonna start picking up in calls for me for FixFit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, I mean you're right, because if people are not on top of their nutrition and recovery right now. Like you're probably gonna get more tweaks right now.
It's game day, and that's the fun of CrossFit and the Open. But people, how hard are people pushing now?
Right.
And maybe some of them have never snatched recently. They missed the class or whatever. They just don't work on it, and they see other people doing it, and now they're just doing like a low back bend to pick it up.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna shrug it up the wrong way, and you just can't help because it's game day.
I know, man. My Mondays are my off day too, so I spread out my workout if I'm going to work out in the morning, midday, or whatever. And now it's like my usual class at 7 is like, I'll show up at 7 and do it together. And I'm like, I can for like the first 3 weeks, but then the last 2 I'm going to have trouble with it. Yeah. And it's like, I literally did not even have it on my radar. All of a sudden, like last week, I saw it written up and I was like, oh, damn.
I think it's better that way. This year, I'm trying to tell people to have fun with it and not strategize or pace it, because that's my thing back in the day, like was really nerd out and dissect it so I can have an edge against DJ and stuff like that, because I paced it better. It's not necessarily I'm more fit, in most workouts these days, but like I could win it. But we're starting to lose the love of like the game.
Yeah.
It's like the analogy might be like I'm going to pick up
It's
a ball every Friday, but I'm like doing plays and drills in my head. It's like
no one free 5 weeks of programming.
Yeah, no one like practices for pick up ball.
Right.
You know.
Right.
You're not in an organized, like, keep it fun, keep it organic, push it as hard as you can, and people have lost that love. And I saw like one of the gyms put out like a timing spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to finish in 9 something, here's your splits for every movement. And I'm like, this is cool. And we were there a couple of years ago, but
I don't know. The first round, a couple of people I talked to were saying they didn't even finish, and I was like, dude, I thought this was like a.
No, this is not a finishable workout.
What?
I think because DJ did it and he like barely finished
in 15 minutes though.
Yeah.
Right. Like
but to get all 10 rounds, it's not finishable in 15 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's where you're saying it's supposed to be that go. But when I see it programmed like that, I was like, the way that we've been doing it, it's like, man, if you just made it a 20-minute cap, 25-minute cap, like we would probably get it done and everybody would be just as equally, tired. But I guess it's a different style workout, right? Like you want everybody sprinting.
Yeah, what reminded me of that is on our road trip, we stopped by Bill Grenler's gym. Mm-hmm. He's like an OG CrossFitter, like one of the originals, and he's a Masters competitor. He's also like the announcer at the CrossFit Games, or one of the people that broadcast. So he was telling us the story about Pukey the clown. He's like, most people don't even know what that means, and because they just think it's like, oh, cool, CrossFit, there's a clown. But he was like, back then there wasn't anything called pacing or anything like that, or any games. So every workout was like fucking, you just pedal to the metal every single workout. It doesn't matter if it's a 3-minute workout like Fran or whatever, or 2-minute workout like Grace, that type of deal. But it's like, here's a 30-minute workout, and that's how, and that's why people just kept throwing up and stuff. But then it does remind me, like, you don't want to do that all the time, I guess, but it is fun to get to that point once in a while. I think we've gone so far about being careful with like mechanics and technique and pacing that no one knows how to push it. Right. And that's kind of the.
I really looked at the 15-minute thing and went, why are people not finishing? And then I was like, now that we talked, I was
you finally have to push it, and you're not accustomed to it.
If these really good guys are barely finishing, that means you got to go full throttle like the whole time. There's no pace.
And I don't think it's a CrossFit issue. I think it's a generation issue. It's like, I'm sure when you wrestled, if you go and see how wrestlers train today, it's probably a little softer or not as crazy as it used to be, maybe. I'm not sure. But same thing with like even in NBA, the way the NBA plays.
Yeah.
You see MJ and Barkley literally elbowing each other and no like flagrants.
Barkley still talk shit about it.
And now everyone's like flopping and you can't touch each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's
that.
There's a little bit of like.
But I think we've gotten smarter too, right? Like so.
But too smart. Like as in like you're so good at strategizing.
You do gotta find the.
You're too optimal.
Right.
And the only thing you lose from being so optimal is you forget how to suffer.
Well, that's why you want to blend, right? Like if you had a head coach and an assistant coach, you'd want the head coach to be old school and be like, "We're gonna kill you guys today."
Yeah.
And then you want the assistant coach to go, "Let's have a recovery day tomorrow after, huh, coach?"
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Yes." Like that's the perfect.
Yeah, you can't
combo.
have. That's what I'm saying. You can't go like he said. You can't go. No. Pedal to the metal, throw up every workout. That's not what I'm saying either.
In wrestling, there were coaches that would make you cry. Like, assistant coaches would make you cry. And the head coach would be like, there. Like, and he was actually, the head coaches are always the ones that barely even talk to you. He'd be like, they're like your father figure where you're like, shit, dude, he's here. Hey, mind your P's and Q's. And then the assistant coaches would whoop the shit out of you. Now I bet there's a lot more coddling. There has to be.
Everything is, you can't, like, even with football, like, you can't hit certain ways, or you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't dance in the end zone.
But we're gonna save brains that way.
No, it's good overall.
It's funny because.
But what do you lose, right?
If you debated sport, like in society, you would go, we're saving the brains of these football players by shifting all these rules and coddling it.
Yep.
But then the argument on the other side is, they signed up for fucking football, not us. They signed up to be hit by a freaking cement, a semi truck and for a living, and we didn't. It's like, I mean, they're getting paid money to do that shit, so let them do it. But it's weird. I don't know who is the one that in society is dictating it, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I don't
the
know.
NFL's like, we have to do this. Like, who says?
Yeah.
Why can't you just do whatever you want? Like, I don't know. I don't know who's controlling that. It's just kind of weird.
And from a training standpoint, you know, bring it back to like what we do and the athletes we work on, and even our own sport. Like, I think people need to push once in a while to get to that dark place. You know? And I think that's because we're trying to optimize training and like perfect ideal programming or teaching mechanics. You know, that saying you can't teach heart or whatever. You can't teach work ethic, that sort of shit. You know, we're starting to lose some of that. Because people are using that as an excuse, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to push today because I'm going to fire my pecs, bro. Like,
no, or like, like my whoop's telling me I should recover today.
Oh, shit.
So
like,
I should probably take an easy day today.
Yeah.
So that's what, like, I talked to a couple people about the Unplugged book before. I haven't read it, but it's because I'm not, like, I like Whoop, I like Fitbits and Apple Watches for, like, objective data, but it's because I like to be a nerd and have objective data.
But you can't dictate your actions.
Exactly. I don't look at it and go, oh,
yeah,
man, if I didn't get 9.5 hours sleep a day, it's going to ruin my whole day. Like, no, I just look at it and go, okay, that explains why I'm feeling this way, and I feel better about it.
I think in the training as a whole now, there's more of the science and the training smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
That don't concuss each other all the time, right? In the gym.
Right.
So
yes, don't knock each other out in practice.
Yeah. So don't throw up every workout. That's not productive.
Yeah.
So I think there's the majority of people are favoring that side.
Right.
Versus like there's maybe we only see usually one or two people in the whole gym that people can identify. Like, oh, who's that guy that just goes balls to the wall? And then everyone can name those one or two people. And the rest of the members, the all 99 or 98% of the other members are like, no, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to take it easy.
You have to, I mean, if you're feeling nerdy, you have to read or listen to the podcast I just listened to. Quick shout out for Muscle Doc on RX Radio. He had the COO of Hybrid, where Steffi Cohen is.
I think it's Hybrid Performance.
Hybrid Performance. He had some guy on, and let me look it up real quick. Ian Kaplan, and it's like the smartest guy you've never heard of.
Is it
steroid and pain science?
Is it because his name's Ian?
First of all Ians are just geniuses, and I want to shout that out.
It's a lifestyle.
He's like a Cairo student, and he's
here we go.
Right? So I'm like, oh, yeah. But he's also COO there, and I'm like, what the hell? And he's like in charge of research and like,
yeah.
But like, if you want, I mean, it's a savant talking to a savant in that podcast where you're like, what the hell? But there was like a couple topics where I was like, oh man, like this is just a good topic. Where it was like, Muscle Dog asked him like, what is pain? And then he's like, pain, and then in my head I was like, it's nociception. It's like what your body feels.
Yep.
Right? It could be like I touched the hot stove, and right?
Or it could do 100 burpees. Like that's
so
type of pain.
He was like, if the goal of therapy and exercise and all this crap we do is to get rid of pain,
got it.
Why are we pushing towards that and not like performance, one, and then two, like he brought it up, like it's so many people's professions and goals to get rid of pain, right? And he's like, because that's what society wants. They want to not be in pain. So that's what you're saying. Like, it's so easy to lean towards that softness, right? Of like, Fitbit tells me I've already done 10,000 steps, so I'm not going to go to the gym today. But it's like, you're supposed to take 10,000 steps. What the fuck? That's not a marker for you that you've reached some fitness achievement today, and you could just go home and sit on your ass.
Yeah.
So it's like, where it's like, are all those devices and tools and all these things we give out, like, we're doing all these pistons to your glute fires, and then your core is stronger. All right, your core is, like, people want to be cured, right? Like, oh, my core is finally strong. Like, I'm done now.
Exactly.
But it's like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Right?
So it's like, you're never going to be, and I try to tell this to my patients all the time, you're never going to be, like, resolved out of pain for the rest of your life.
Yeah, because you're always going to move. You're always playing your sport. You're always picking up your kids. You're always going to pick shit up from the ground. Cases of water at Costco.
Right.
You're not going to not move.
So most of the time, we're therapists. We're treating the brain more than we're treating people's bodies, because we have to talk them out of it all the time when we tell them, you're interpreting pain.
Yeah.
Your body's telling you get help. You're here getting help. Do this. and then keep doing it, and then keep doing it, and keep doing it. And then every time you come back and you're asking what next, it might be evolving, but it's mostly just reminders over and over and over and over again.
So do you think the majority, if you were to label the percent, right, the majority of the people using technology or just all the information they're getting, right?
Yeah.
Are they using it more for the benefit of their training, like you said, data, and then
Yeah.
they're learning from it? Or they're using it more so for excuses?
Exactly. I think it makes it easy to make the excuse
For
after.
sure. It's because, like, if you feel some sort of thing like, oh, even for us, like, oh, man, my lat doesn't fire. I'm not going to do any pull-ups. It's like, that's not the point.
Right.
I'm not going to do this workout.
Exactly.
I can't feel my lat. Or like, oh, I have this one little pain here. I can't get rid of it. I'm like, your rest of your body's not crippled. There's a point where you have to just keep pushing, and sometimes it just resolves itself. But
that might explain why
you can't just stop.
That might explain why motivational guys like Gary Vee, Jocko are like so big right now, because like
that's what everyone's missing, right?
Yeah.
Like telling me
Joe Rogan's
fucking
podcast.
get up at 4 a.m.
Constantly telling
Jocko,
you,
get the fuck up at 4:30.
free content telling you all the time, like, get the hell out of bed and like you won't regret it after you move. And like coming to the CrossFit gym, people pay their membership because they're like, someone's telling me to move today.
Yeah, someone's pushing you. You have to go. Your buddies are pushing you.
Right. Like that's why those kinds of places do so well, and like these, because like it's so much easier to just be like, no, I found like a workout routine that I could do in my garage, and I'll just do that 3 times a week. And
it's not going to get it.
Like my Fitbit tells me to walk, and my Apple Watch tells me to walk every hour, and I do that, and I'm good. And it's like, if you find a good routine, that's fine, but like you're going to eventually hit this threshold where it's like my body's in pain again because I'm spinning my wheels. And
I think there's double benefit. It's a good segue to what we really want to talk about is like you have to push, because we're saying people are getting so good at pacing. You have to learn to push because you start to understand, one, the difference of intensity, which your body feels as pain. Like if you're sprinting a fucking 400 meter on a track or sprinting as fast as you can for a minute, like that's painful. But it's not like you're in joint pain or whatever, right? Like you're not having like an impingement in your shoulder type of pain, right? That's number one. If you keep going into
nothing's tearing off the bone there.
If you keep working out at intensity, there's so many other benefits to it, right? But we're just sticking to this pain type of receptor or whatever, how you interpret pain. So if you keep pushing through workout pain, then you can differentiate when you actually have some like physical injuries, right? And the second thing is you have to get to that point, and I think people are missing it, is because if you do follow a Fitbit and you're just getting your steps in, you're just jogging, you're just doing something as a routine, and you never push it to that point where you get into the sympathetic nervous system, then that's the real issue.
Yes.
Because all day you're in the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight or whatever, because you're just like, you're on edge. Someone cut you off when you're driving, you don't know how to react. Like, so if you can push yourself that, you need that kind of mental release of experiencing that and coming off of that, so you're not going crazy all day. You're like bottled up all fucking day long. And people are coddled so they don't get there.
Right.
So you hit the gym, but you're doing your sets and you're not going to intensity. You're just working technique, mechanics, whatever you're doing. And then you leave the gym and you just never got that like animalistic like urge to just, that's why people are really digging jiu-jitsu these days, because I think they found something where they have to get into that fight or flight or sympathetic because someone's attacking you. And workouts used to do it for
you
some.
don't have to attack the bar,
but now workouts have become so the way people apply it, like watered down a little. They're probably not getting that same stimulus as they used to.
Sure.
Like, you might be going to CrossFit for a couple of years, and then the first couple of years everything was like pushing it. Now you're kind of just going through the motions.
So is that what? Well, to kind of segue, that you took a Wim Hof seminar yesterday at the gym, and they put you into a sympathetic state, right, with the hyperventilating. Is it to stimulate that reaction as well? Like kind of like, jiu-jitsu forces you to go into it because you're being under attack.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, because what I thought breathing was supposed to be in all the breathing techniques that I've learned in the past, and oxygen advantage and things I saw online, usually it's more meditative, right? When people are like, oh, you're stressed out, take long, slow breaths, calm your breath, slow your breathing down. And so this wasn't it. This was like fast pace, expanding your chest type breathing.
Under stress as well, like under a tension of some sort.
It's like controlled stress tests, right?
Right.
Where you're laying down and, you're trying to get people, would know that if you breathe too fast or whatever, you might pass out, all that. There's like a controlled stress. And then what you get after experiencing that, now that you're talking to me, it kind of relates. It's like when you go through a really intense workout, like you're just doing bike intervals on the salt bike or something, or you're sprinting on the track, like you get to that sympathetic state, and then afterwards,
that come down,
or even during, you have to learn how to deal with that pain. You have to deal with how that sympathetic state feels like. So they can accomplish that without having to push themselves, to risk their body. The breathing gets you there, and then there's breathing techniques to bring you down, and then that's the benefit. Because the idea, from my understanding, is you're trying to get into a parasympathetic state, that rest to relax, while your body is in sympathetic.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
So if you don't understand all that, it doesn't matter. So we jumped into an ice, like, this isn't like 90% water and 10% ice. This was like before you get into this thing that you can sit all the way up so that the water goes up to your neck. You have to throw an extra 20-pound bags of ice when you go into it, so you're like covered. The coldest fucking thing I've ever experienced in my life. Johnny Hoadley went first. He came out, and Johnny does cold showers, this and that, and I'm deathly afraid of the cold.
I hate it.
He comes out, he's like, that was worse than I ever imagined.
Holy
I was
shit.
like, oh no. And it was really bad. Like the amount of, everyone's been cold. I mean, if you've done ice bath, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, you've been into a cold ocean, jumped into a cold pool.
I hate it.
And that's really cold.
But there's got to be a reason why we hate it, right?
Yeah, you're probably scared of it, or don't know how to deal with the sympathetic or whatever.
Right. As soon as it gets kind of cold, I step into a cold shower, I go, and then straight to heat, because we have that luxury, right? Like, we never learn how to actually deal with that environment.
And we stay away from it because it's uncomfortable. And that's the same thing with training hard. That's the
why
same
living
thing
in the cold is like undesirable location. Everyone wants to live in the sun because it's just like, it's miserable.
And so when we got into the ice bath, you're in a sympathetic state. Which, because usually in my head, when we're training strong fit stuff, where you're like, we think it's like you're in one or the other or whatever, right? Like, I'm trying to get to the point where I'm fight or flight or fight or rest. But since you're in that ice bath, right, you're fully ramped up and you're fighting it constantly. You're dealing with it in real time. Like, all these needles, my hands are numb, my fucking arms are numb. Like it hurts so bad, real pain. But now with the breathing techniques, you should be able to get yourself into a parasympathetic state while you're dealing with all the the factors that bring you into sympathetic. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're fucking ramped up, like,
and you're controlling it.
And you're trying to stay calm under fire.
Right. Yeah, I know. Joe Rogan does it every time he goes on stage, because just about to go on stage ramps up your anxiety and sympathetic nervous system, and then he does Wim Hof breaths. Yeah. And then he goes out and he's like more chill, more level-headed, more clear-headed.
And we've had 2 episodes on anxiety, right? And that's something I deal with, and I see a huge benefit, because you asked me what the benefits are of this thing, like, what's the application, is it performance health?
Yeah, like, how often should you do it?
And it's really, in my opinion, it's such a good tool that you need to have, and everyone has to breathe, number one. Everyone goes through, they're either in 1 or 2 of their nervous systems, right? And this is just a way to kind of control that, So we never were taught how to, for us, FixFit, use our muscles for movements, let's say. This one's more, how do you use your breathing to control your nervous system or your nerves altogether?
Dude, here's a classic.
So you can apply to whatever you need. You're a comedian, you're a high-level athlete, or you're just, like me, just a stressed-out small business owner,
Right.
So.
Dude, my favorite one I listened to or heard about was Gary Woodland. He's a golfer, and he came from like a football wrestling background, so he's strong.
He's probably a hoss then.
Right, yeah, he's just a thick boy, right? Yeah. And he's slimmed down as a golfer because he probably knees and shit, right? So he's like, all right, I'm getting good shape for this. But he was saying, take 4 to 5 athletic movements in one hole, right? 4 to 5 swings, 3 to 4 if you're lucky, right?
Yeah.
Athletic. But you're walking in between those.
Yeah.
And then he's like, if he's competing and he's like has a lead and he's pacing. He's like, he'll start making shitty shots because he's starting to rush. Because like when you start doing athletic movements like that, your muscle memory is like, let's go, right?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. It's the pressure of like a 80-yard walk to your like a slowest walk.
And he's like the fucking fastest walker. He's like doing burpees in between. Like, come on, let's go. You know, like, I mean, that's a big exaggeration, but that's where he was mentally.
Yeah.
And I think he said a sports psychologist taught him to breathe. And he was like, he worked all last offseason on breathing in between his shots because it had to calm his nervous system down, make him like reset and pace and like, what, and that's like the craziest mental sport ever, right? Like, boom, athletic 300-yard drive, walk 300 yards to it.
Yeah.
Calm yourself fucking down, figure out your next shot, and then do another athletic movement without, you know, like it's so easy to have like a freaking panic attack.
And I didn't even think about that because everyone knows golf. You hit a shot, you walk to it, or you drive up to it.
We drive up to it.
But still, like, we're not factoring like, oh, I'm ahead of like Tiger 2 or whatever, you know.
Right. So he was known for blowing leads.
Exactly. It's like, I don't want to blow the lead. You have a whole every single shot between time to just.
He was known for blowing leads for getting too anxious and just too trying to make a big move when he shouldn't. And this year he won the U.S. Open, and he credited like breathing.
And breathing's been around forever, right? It's like yoga's been around forever, meditation.
Right.
And everyone talks about breathing. And then I think it's just what I've learned is that Wim Hof guy has kind of put science back to science and started getting people to test what he does and how he does it, and then people were like, well, maybe it's just you. Like, they do weird tests where like they test his blood and he does his breathing, and they test his blood again, his blood has like more antibodies or whatever. Like, it's like different blood altogether. Like, you can't fake that, and it gets people all confused, and and that's kind of where it's starting to become more popular because he's doing crazy shit with a lot of crazy, like, healing people.
Right.
I saw I was just browsing his YouTube channel, like he was working with Alistair Overeem, like big MMA fighter, and then Laird Hamilton does their own breathing thing.
Dude,
but
he's huge on it too.
Brian McKenzie used to run CrossFit Endurance, big into the CrossFit world. He's doing his own Art of Breath or something as well, but it all stems from like the Wim Hof method. So it was cool to learn
some derivative of it.
Exactly. Right? They take it and made it more applicable to what their niches, I guess, or like what they're trying to do with it. So like you could totally take Wim Hof methods and then repackage it, kind of like FixFit. You could take some of those drills and repackage a piston and then say, oh, this is a golf drill, this is like, well,
we've done it already, right? With the when I came back from that seminar about expiration training, meaning like breath in through your nose, forceful expiration out would actually get like your pelvic floor to stabilize for a woman, and then like your lower abs to turn on. So we started applying that to like our oblique openers with the kettlebell breathing. Now diaphragm slam, same thing. Putting that big sandbag on your belly and just breathing through it. So what was nice about diaphragm slam and like the kettlebell openers was we knew right away we were going to implement it, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we need stronger lower abs and obliques, so we're going to use expiration. Okay, we want to get stronger oblique mobility or endurance, so we're just going to do diaphragm slam. So how can we take Wim Hof breathing and apply it to FixFit? To the masses, let's say. Obviously, we're going to start experimenting, but...
Yeah, that's going to come first is the experimentation, because everything we do, like at CFS, one of the ways we constantly learn or keep an open mind is we'll take a seminar certification, and then we'll test it on ourselves as coaches and stuff, and handful of people, and then we start kind of filtering, right?
Yeah. Dissecting,
bringing it down. Like when we first started with StrongFit, it was like all these posters and explanations of internal, external torque and these chains of muscles, and then 99% of the people gloss over, don't really care.
Yep.
And then now, if you come to our gym, our program's fully integrated with FixFit, StrongFit stuff, but it's as boiled down from internal, external torque in every single chain, in every muscle in the chain, to like, hey, do you feel your pec, or not even pec, do you feel your chest when you're doing a push-up?
Right.
So that's what we're doing, the same thing with all this Wim Hof stuff. We're going to have to practice it a lot and see where we can integrate it. Some of the immediate stuff that because DJ Leslie and I,
you thought of?
We're just gonna like a lot of the stuff that he taught was very similar to our like WOD prep or activation or fixed fit drills, but now there's an element of breathing to it. So instead of just doing pistons, just doing diaphragm slam. We knew the diaphragm slam was beneficial because to us that's the oblique opener evolve. Mm-hmm. So we're saying you could crunch up and turn your lower abs and obliques on, but you can't apply it to movement if you can't breathe. So people are holding a flex, holding their breath. Yeah. So we were already on that path of like putting that ball there forces you to breathe because we're holding 2 to 5 minutes.
Right.
So now we just know how to get that, fine tune that because that diaphragm slam we know how to set up better. So they're activating the right part of the core, and then we know how to breathe the right way. So people should be breathing out what they call neutral, nose in, mouth out, through that.
That's so hard to do.
So it's like there's some fine adjustments that we can integrate right away. We won't lose people. It's just like another coaching cue. And it's the same thing for us to test out is like...
That's what I'm saying, or where I was telling you earlier, I'm like, we're not going to fucking buy ice buckets. Yeah. 5,000 pounds of ice every goddamn...
No, we never do that because we always have to test it out.
Right. But is that what they recommend?
No.
Like you guys should do this once a week? Or something like
someone did ask like about the ice baths, and it makes sense. Is like your body acclimates to any stimulus, gets used to it, right?
Right.
So there are people that like, you keep doing ice baths every day or twice a day, then your body becomes immune to it. So you're not getting the effect anyways. You're not even getting the effect of... there's still probably chemical changes or whatever because you're such freezing ice water. But if your body's used to it, you're not even nervous anymore. You can't even get into that sympathetic nervous system. You know what I mean? Like if you take cold showers every day, I guess, right? It's the same thing. It's just another shower now.
Right.
It doesn't like scare you. It doesn't go, and you start shivering and then you have to breathe through it.
I fucking hate it.
So there's no...
I just don't do it.
There's no exact protocol. No, I'm like still
like
a baby.
Warm shower, stretching, like, oh yeah.
I told the whole... Because you went around talk about like why you're here and stuff. I was like, I'm the guy that it's 100 degrees weather in my house.
Yep.
And I still have warm water in my shower.
Don't give a shit, dude.
I don't give it feels
don't
good.
Don't give a shit. I've tried it. I had an old acupuncturist tell me like when you're sick, it's actually pretty good to go under the cold. It'll like your body will just come out hotter. Actually, it cools down your core temperature, and you go outside and it comes back up. It's actually a good way to fight off like an infection. And I was like, oh yeah. I started doing it. I'm like, my mornings are starting off nice, and then all of a sudden winter came, and I was like, fuck that shit. I'm done. And I'm back to hot water.
I'm out.
And now I'm like you, 120 outside. I'll still be at least a warm shower.
I think the biggest change for me is the intent. Right? We talk about the why, the intent. Yeah. I'm not just getting in the cold shower because my original thought, I think most people think of it as like a recovery mechanism or tool. It's
right.
Like, ice your joints, take a cold shower so your body can inflammation or whatever we call it. But it's more about learning how to apply the breathing techniques. That's why you should take a cold shower and get into a parasympathetic state under stress.
That's probably why I stopped. I can't wait I'm sure you guys are going to have the seminar again in a few months.
I couldn't wait to like, you got to come back. I got so many people that should take it, like all of you guys.
It was last minute, so I couldn't make it. I was like, dude, I'm 100% have to make the next one because I have so many... As much as I hate it, I want to try it. I messaged DJ. I was like, dude, my balls hurt just looking at you sit there. Like, you look and you posted he looks angry.
It was so fucking cold, and there's only 3 ice baths, with more than enough time. You weren't really standing long.
Yeah.
And then when I got out, and then DJ went, and I was just sitting there, like, feeling my, like, capillaries and shit. My, like, just like my blood.
I hate that so much.
Slowly coming back to life, right?
But then...
And then so DJ comes over and he's like, he just got out and I've been out for like maybe 15, 20 minutes. And he's like, oh man, I feel like I got like ice in my ass and stuff like that. and he's joking around, right?
Yeah.
And I reached back, I had all this ice in my like waist, and stuck in my shorts. I'm like, what the fuck? I've been standing here just freezing. That's how numb I was.
I just think of like the cold shower, I do the immediate, it hits like my arm and I'm like, I do the... like that right away, and I'm like, dude,
that's good though.
That's good. I have to go with it, right?
You're trying to... Now you're fully in that sympathetic.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with that.
5 a.m. I'm sorry, not 5 a.m. Come on. 6 a.m. I'm not doing that. I was like, I would love to start, but I want to know why I need to do it. So I'm going to go to the seminar.
That's why it's like
my crazy ass into it.
Usually, like, I'm able to take a lot of info and then kind of regurgitate it. But this one, you have to go through the full basic fundamental one, in my opinion, because you have to experience it.
Yeah.
At first, if it was one of those where it's like, hey, you work on this breathing thing and like you'll start to feel better like in 6 months or 3 months or whatever, right? Like one of those like more so hippie type of things.
Yeah.
But for us, we like that test retest, right? You come to like whenever any of you guys that have done like an assessment with Ian and I, we're able to show you that this isn't firing. You do the drill, this is firing right away. So like you get that feedback.
Yeah,
it works.
Yep.
So for me, I didn't know what I was getting into. So what I've been telling most people about like how the seminar worked was, I've always been a shitty breather. So I'm a mouth breather. I have a deviated septum, allergies. So all of the above, like my nose now, it's always clogged, right? And so I've always had bad lungs or whatever, asthmatic growing up. And then when we did a baseline test, he just said, hold your breath. And then the average was like 30 seconds in the whole group. I was already done at like 20. And then after the breathing exercises, and even no matter like the best breath hold I've ever done may have been like maybe 40 seconds. You know, a minute seemed like pro level, right? Like you're some fucking fish or some freak, right? And then so I was at 20 seconds as the baseline. After we did the exercises, the last one was 2 minutes plus. And I felt like I should just stop because this is getting kind of stupid, right? He's like, some people, you can keep going. And I just kind of had that
I'm good, man.
Yeah, no, he's like, don't push it, right? So I'm not, and that 2 minutes wasn't like,
yeah.
Okay, no,
it was the first 20 seconds in the shower.
And then at the end of that, it's like you do the exercise, you hold your breath. I held it for 2 fucking minutes.
It's crazy.
2 minutes, and it's not like I have genetically good lungs and all that. And then you're supposed to exhale at the end of the hold. So not only do I like not go, but it's like I held my breath, and at the end of the 2 minutes, I still had like,
damn,
it's fucking trippy. So
you gonna try it today in the workout?
I already did it today once. I was like laying in bed. I had to stress. Like I was super calm yesterday, and today like mellow is really weird because I'm usually more ADHD and more like that's the benefit of the ice bath.
If people get, you would think like, oh, I'd get sick doing that thing, because like you're freezing temperature, but it's probably like I was saying with the acupuncture, is like you get out and get into a warm environment. Room temperature is warm at that point, right?
Yep.
Your body will fight off like small inflammation levels, and
then that's where you'll learn the science behind it. It's like when you do that hyperventilating type of breathing, you in the sympathetic, it gives you the adrenaline.
Yeah.
And then due to the adrenaline spike, that's what your body does naturally when you try to fight off sickness.
Right.
That's why you feel like all hot and bothered when you're getting sick.
Fever.
So if you hit that, like, healing properties regularly, and that's why a lot of people that work out regularly don't get sick because they get to that point, You probably spike that adrenaline if you're doing high intensity work, So this is just the easier way to get it done. And there's the benefit of learning how to come back down or deal with it.
Right.
Versus like if you do a CrossFit workout, like let's say something super intense, bike intervals again is the worst thing I could think of. But there's no education on how to come back down. You're like spiked and you're fucked, and then you go to work and you're fucked because you've just been like you're probably gonna end up crashing versus like being able to breathe through the crazy.
I don't know about you. I don't know if you noticed this in the seminar yesterday, but I hold my breath when you guys talk about breathing. I did that at the seminar with the expiration training. I was like sitting there, I'm like, why am I not breathing at all right now? Okay. See, right now, shit. I'm just like holding it all in for some reason.
I'm a terrible breather. That's why I've gotten into taping my mouth and doing a lot of the Oxygen Advantage stuff. Check out his book, and his TED Talk is probably the easiest way to get it. All of his stuff, but this was something different. It was really cool.
Feels good to take a deep breath now.
It was really cool. Brian McKenzie's testimonial on the Wim Hof YouTube page was really cool. He's like, most of the time, he's never had a good experience with meditation.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you got to really sit still for 20 minutes and calm. And he's like, I don't want to sit still for 20 minutes. I want to do a lot of shit in 20 minutes. Like,
that's a good point.
And so this isn't one of those sit there and don't do shit. Yeah. This is like you're breathing hard. You're learning how to get yourself into like the sympathetic state. And then afterwards, you come down from that like you just did a crazy workout. You can even start sweating, which we felt like our ears were muffled, like you hit a crazy workout. So if you guys do CrossFit, you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. So we were looking around, Holy and I and Leslie and DJ were like, dude, what if we spike this pre-WOD, right? You get you get to the deepest waters. Like I have to hit like a stupid long workout at high intensity, like a team WOD, to get the ear muffled. Mm-hmm. But if I can spike it pre-workout and as a warm-up and then come back down from that, then I know how to stay, because I can breathe through that, right?
Right.
Ears muffled, I feel like the tension. If I can breathe and stay parasympathetic during that breathing exercise, when I get to the workout, I know how to breathe through the exercise.
Right.
So there's the performance benefit across the board, especially if you're a jiu-jitsu athlete. That guy was a black belt in jiu-jitsu that taught it, Miles Lucas.
That's what's hard. If you're under someone's side control,
he was saying, like,
and you start doing the...
He's
you're
like,
have
people
a
are
panic attack.
People are getting him in their best choke, and he's not tapping because he's like just staying calm under fire.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you start freaking out, things get tight. Just like there's so many.
You feel
benefits.
like you're suffocating. You tap before it's even tight.
And he uses like a knee on belly example when someone's crushing you. Like people freak out, they can't breathe.
Yeah.
So all you're doing is just learning how to be more calm, and then that has so many applications of mental health, anxiety, like for myself, especially
try it today, man. We're gonna go hit 20.1 soon. You could sit in the car and just hyperventilate.
For sure, I was definitely.
I'm
gonna do it because that's what you have to test it. So
yeah,
what's the best way to test a super crazy?
Oh, dude, we'll definitely do a part 2 episode on this when I take the seminar.
Yeah, the goal is for you to take the seminar and then have Miles on here, and then we could do a real Q&A with him.
Dude, if he does the breathing into the microphone, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's
what Wim Hof did on Rogan's. I was like,
I gotta watch that.
You should go back and watch that one.
So now I want to go back and really learn.
Keep doing the, and I'm like, oh, like I was same thing. I'm driving. I'm like holding my breath like the whole time he was doing it. Yeah. I'm like, I hate this freaking episode.
I was like coming from my, if you guys are listening and you're more like me, it's like I was very anxious all day, anxiety's through the roof because I'm like. Just unknown.
I don't even want to get into the tub.
Yeah, getting in the tub was scary. Doing the breathing exercises was scary.
You have no idea how your body's going to feel in that tub until you're in it, right?
And then after doing it, it's like, because I need it the most.
Right.
Was the best thing ever. So I can't wait, because I've had exercise anxiety, and I've talked about that,
Yeah.
So it's like...
It'll probably happen today.
Right?
Well, maybe for me, not for you. Because you'll be Wim Hof'd.
And he even went over some Hickson breathing. You know how Hickson does his weird little stomach thing? He even did it.
Fuck.
He's like a, like advanced Wim Hof type of guy.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Super chill dude.
It's crazy that your name could be a technique that's an adjective.
Wim Hof. You Wim Hof it?
That's what I said. You're going to Wim Hof yourself.
That's why you plugged in Ian. You want it to be a thing?
Yeah, if you want to get nerded out, talk to Ian.
Yeah, if you're going to Ian
talk to a Dr. Ian somewhere.
Yeah, so we'll test it, and
yeah, we'll get back to it, man.
That's what we do. We're always going to implement new stuff. We're always open to learning new stuff.
Okay. 20.1 in 2019. October 14th, 2019. Can't wait. Thanks, CrossFit.
It's so silly.
Stupid. All right. That's it. Let's wrap it up. We'll be back next week with something else.
Oh, but before then, message me if you want to partake in the seminar, because then it can really help with putting another one on. So that there's a demand there. So I want him to do another one at CrossFit Sun, because it's
I'm
local.
sure you guys will promote it longer.
But it's easier if I'm like approach Miles and be like, hey, I already got like 10, 15 people interested. Maybe we'll just do.
I think you would.
So if you guys are listening and got this far, message me. Also, he's at breath.fitness on his Instagram, and he's Miles Lucas.
Sweet.
Lucas with a K. So follow him. He's got good stuff, but he's a really good instructor. He's one. I've taken so many certs and seminars, nothing but good things.
Yeah, I know we're judgy on those things,
dude. Some seminars I've been to
some dude where I'm like, fucking hate this dude.
This was,
or even if the content's good, I'm okay to get by.
But it's the guy
if the content's
or
bad
gal
and the presenter's bad.
Gosh,
wasted time and money. I hate that. So that's good. That's a good one.
It was really good. I can't wait to get you guys in here. That was first my thought was like, and then my coaches, everyone. Because like Bob didn't go and stuff. Like,
I'm sorry Bob didn't go. Too last minute.
It was super last minute, and luckily that we got the opportunity to do it and host it. But
yeah, and you guys had a good turnout, so I'm sure you'll want to come back.
Yeah,
so
super.
That's
cool,
awesome.
Dude. He does jiu-jitsu too, so I can't wait for.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get tapped
Can't
out
wait to
by
tap
another. We're meeting so many people that could just kill us. Can we meet like this? Like, hey man,
I don't like.
I'm a Wim Hof guy, but I'm like this 3 stripe white belt.
Should we feel more calm being surrounded by like straight murderers?
Well, it doesn't like I know my role.
I was listening.
I know there's no like they're black belts. I'm not even in the
I
realm.
was listening to Jocko talk about it, and he was saying something like, like if you played basketball your whole life and then you played somebody in a pickup game that's never touched basketball, that would be a black belt versus a white belt walking in.
Yeah.
You're not going to score a point. You're going to get
nothing.
packed. You're going to get nothing.
You don't even know. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's a great example.
Because he was getting interviewed and they were asking him, like, could you just, like, kill me right now? And he was like, I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a Navy SEAL. But, he was saying in jiu-jitsu specifically, he was like, we don't go in there and just straight choke everyone out.
There's no point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that basketball player is not going to play some little 5-year-old kid and just keep packing him. Make him
dunk
cry.
on him.
I mean, you could, but what's the point, right?
Right. That's the same thing for a black belt. I could tap this guy like 20 times right now. It's not fun for me.
It was really cool because the seminar had like 4 black belts total, I think, and like a lot of other jiu-jitsu guys. And
there's just so many more black belts in the world. It's scary.
Yeah, it's
don't get in bar fights, people. Do not.
And I'm I'm more entrepreneur hippie type of guy, so I'm always like, I don't like need a belt or whatever for me personally.
Right.
Not judging people, but now I'm meeting all these cool black belts, and it's like when you achieve black belt status from what I'm getting talking to these awesome people,
big
it's
honor
like,
system for it.
It's a huge thing for them.
Yeah.
Like when Joe Rogan got it and you watch his YouTube clip, it's like it means so much to that person, and that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you get into that club of these people that have walked that walk,
it's special.
Yeah. And it's like now I can see the benefit of like this is why I now want to get it.
Yeah.
And it's not even just like I want to be part of the cool kids, but I want to walk that walk to.
Dude, that's why I want you to come to I really hope you can come on to my friend's black belt test.
Yeah, man, I want to see it.
It's a big deal.
As long as I don't have to do shit.
No, you're definitely gonna get thrown in. But it's just,
I'm good now because I got my breathing stuff.
It's just like watching him go through that grind and then like get handed the belt. I mean, it's like you think of a little kid getting his stripe and being all excited, but it's like being a 50-year-old adult working 12 years towards it. It's like, dude, that is like a huge honor.
And his sensei, professor, it sounds like his test is fucking rigorous.
Yeah.
And not to knock some of the other people, but it's like a lot of the people are like doing a comp. They're like on the top of the podium and they're a brown belt. They beat everyone in the world. So here you go. Right. So it's not that that's any different, but like this guy sounds like he's going to old school, like fucking 3 straight hours of prove every tech. It's gonna.
Yeah, he's gonna have to instruct moves. He's gonna have to.
Yeah, it's a different. Like again, it's his own different journey, right? So a competitor's journey is easier.
But going back, it's an old school mentality to do that, right?
Yeah.
He's also gonna have to hit the wall of like, hey, 4 guys are kicking your ass right now. Are you gonna be able to get out of it?
Yeah, you're making quick decisions and stuff.
That's his anxiety. Is like, he's like, I'm nervous for the test. I'm like, you're not gonna forget anything and get the multiple choice wrong.
Yeah.
4 guys are gonna be kicking your ass when you're dead tired.
And this is a test. You don't want to have to retake, all that stuff, right?
I mean, he might fail.
Exactly.
He could fail.
It's not a given.
You try again next year, bud.
Yeah.
Train harder. Oh, I'm stressed for him. He's a good friend. I'm like, God, man, I'm trying to help him train, but I'm like, you gotta come see it.
Here's an interesting thought. It's like there's so many. I'm talking to all these jiu-jitsu guys because that's I create a little jiu-jitsu room in the gym, and it's just like I just love it.
Yeah.
But it's like there's so many parallels to CrossFit and jiu-jitsu. It's like you have to learn complex skills. You don't want people to get hurt. How do you teach it, and everything like that. It's like I still think what CrossFit can learn from jiu-jitsu is there's got to be some sort of belt system. It doesn't have to be belts, but there has to be something where because let's say I've been doing CrossFit for 10 years, 11 years maybe, from the start. It's like you want to be able to have something that can symbolize that. You know what I mean?
Dude, like rankings just makes competition even.
But it's
weirder,
not. Yeah, but but then it kind of sucks because like you put in the work and you're in that black belt club. Now I realize the benefit of it. But if you like spend time mastering, I can do a muscle up, I can do a
how many
snatch,
black belts,
I can do a
how
whatever.
How many black belts do you think are in the world then, if in CrossFit? if that was the case?
I think it'd be something like, you have to be. Let's see.
Where do you think you would be?
In terms of CrossFit?
Yeah. If you had a belt.
I would say I was a black belt because I'm teaching my own style of stuff. So my black belt would be way different from like a games athlete or something else. Like
right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, my shit's like what your buddy's probably going through. Like if I had to give a black belt out at CrossFit Sun, it would be like, all right, you can do all the movements, but can you fucking articulate and coach this new guy?
Perfect way, yep.
In mechanics, not just like put your elbows here, put your elbows up for a squat clean. I need you to be able to, at that point,
as the gym owner, you want to be able to.
So I say I'm a black belt because I'm doing that. It might be different from someone else. Like you must get a 2-minute Fran and a 5-minute mile. Like that's a different.
Someone else's sensei was like, this guy went to the games a bunch of times. He has a black belt.
And for sure, and that's like I can't argue that or knock that because that's amazing. But it's like a different. That's what black belts are about.
There's the parallels.
It's the parallel, right? It's like our gym. It's form, technique, mechanics, community. It's like that. That's what I mean. Is you want to kind of earn your keep in the gym.
Yeah.
And it's not something to brag about because no black belt brags about black belt. That's one thing everyone.
So you had to think.
It's
can
not
I say
like
black belt.
You're
like you don't want to just say I'm a black belt because I'm the best.
And every time Miles introduced or talked to someone that say, hey, so and so yesterday was a black belt, it was just like kind of the same, like shake their head, don't look at me, like because no one's there to. Just
imagine if you're at a dinner party and no one even knows. Like your wife's friend is like, oh, I heard you do jiu-jitsu, and you're like, yeah, what belt are you? Oh, I've been training 15 years.
Yeah.
No, what belt? I'm a black belt. Like, at a dinner party, that must sound so funny. Like, you just
like it's out of context. Like, you don't it's not...
Oh, I'm a black belt.
I think there's never a good time to bring it up, right? Like, it's not even just like, hey, bro, I'm a black belt.
Yeah, it'd be super weird.
But anywho, I just think that's something interesting about that.
That makes sense.
Because you have to you want to work towards something.
Yeah.
And you want to be part of that elite club. So I don't know.
What's DJ's belt, real quick, before we close up?
DJ?
Yeah.
No, I think DJ would probably be a black belt.
Oh man, I think he's a 4-stripe brown belt.
I don't even know how all that stuff works. DJ's definitely a black belt because he's fully. I think he earned it in the sense that we probably both earned it with the last 2 years or so. Maybe his is more like a year and a half of like the FixFit journey.
Yeah.
Because he does all the programming. He's fully integrated it, so
he can hand out belts now.
Yeah. For sure, because that's the huge change of like we were all brown belts right before this because we're all doing the general like warm up and mobility and everyone's doing.
Okay, let's make FixFit fucking belt systems in. F it.
Yeah, blue belt would be you would have to know the fundamental movement patterns. What's a hinge? What's a squat pattern?
Like hats or a shirt or some shit.
Yeah, we could test it on that because like CrossFit Sun's already like. Because
we're not going to give out literal belts that you work out in.
No, right? There's got to be just like that's maybe they call it in CrossFit like level 1 trainer, level 2 trainer.
There we go. Okay,
level 3 coach, right?
What if we do FixFit coaches that are like belt ranked?
And even in the Wim Hof seminar, this is the fundamental seminar. Everyone that takes it can now take an advanced seminar, right? See, there's already a like an order.
I like it,
and it's important because if you're taking a fundamental FixFit seminar,
right?
And if you're a level 1 and you can get the basic concepts, now we could talk about something more advanced like golf, right? Like if you don't know fucking level 1, you're a white belt. Like why am I gonna go over fucking like donkey guard or something crazy, right?
Right.
You don't even know what a guard is,
dude.
So, something to think about.
Do we just call this episode Brainstorm? Because we went all over the place.
FixFit, black belt, breathing,
call this one
open.
Brittany's Americano. Brittany's Grande Iced Americano. Thank you so much, Brittany.
Thank you,
Look
Brittany.
what you did. 1 hour.
All right, FixFit gal's back. No?
She's currently FixFit the builder over there. She's done hammering. Let's go see what kind of progress she made. Probably not much.
This is probably a better episode titled Mental Vomit.
Another mental vomit.
No, but this was a good... I mean, we were all over the place.
We're always good. So. We're always the best. F it. I'm a black belt in FixFit.
I know. We are not even there yet, I don't think.
No, not even close. I'd put myself at like a purple belt.
Yeah, I
Like
think
FixFit, not even CrossFit.
I'm still
Do I have my
figuring
white
shit
belt in
out.
CrossFit?
We just
I
added
have a
a
blue belt.
we just added a layer of breathing to all the FixFit drills.
Right.
Like now we have to test it and practice it another X years. Who knows?
Yeah, but we're gonna be the senseis. All right, we're out, Sensei Mark.
Professor
Professor Mark.
Cook.